Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Just Talking About Sports. I'm Matthew.
I'm Ethan.
And I'm Michael.
And Mr. Ethan, what are we going to be doing today, sir?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about sports, baby.
Welcome back to our fourth episode. Before we begin with our 5 conferences today, let's do a quick run around of the standings so far. Ethan is 2-1. His Lancers of Longwood and the Murray State Racers are his 2 wins. I am in second.
Ride or die, baby.
Ride or die. I'm 1-2 in second place. I got Murray State right. And per usual, Michael's in last. Just kidding. I won last year. But, oh God. Anyway, go Loyola. We're done with that. Now let's move on. We're going to start today with the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. Most of you don't know what I'm talking about, and that's okay. That's what we're here for. This conference is led by the Gales of Iona and former Louisville coach Rick Pitino. They finished 17-3 on this season. Slick Rick. A bunch of other teams follow behind them, including the Peacocks of St. Peter's, Siena, and Monmouth. Michael, we're going to start with you today. Who's winning the Metro Atlantic?
So St. Peter's is a team I really like. I talked about how much I loved Georgia State. St. Peter's is basically the exact same team. Shaheen Holloway is an excellent coach. If Kevin Willard, for some reason, leaves Seton Hall to get a better job, Shaheen Holloway is going to be the next guy in line for good reason. He's an excellent coach. They play this really aggressive style. Their offense goes dull at times, but great defense, press, aggressive, 40 minutes. Like just a very good basketball team. One of the teams that I would absolutely love to have in March. I like this Monmouth team too. They've fallen apart late and they can't beat Marist, but luckily for them, they don't have to play Marist until the championship game, and Marist ain't making the championship game. But you're an idiot if you go against Slick Rick. The pick's Iona. They have the best coach. They have the best roster. It's really that simple. When I'm looking at this team, Tyson Jolly is a high major. I mean, he played at SMU. He was the best player on that team. He's the best player on this team. Nelly Joseph Jr. is awesome too, or Junior Joseph, excuse me. Elijah Jorner, another high major transfer. Quince Lazinski, high major transfer. I can just go on and on and on and on. This roster is stacked. You could throw this roster in the Big East and they're not at the bottom of the conference. I guarantee you that. They're ahead of Georgetown. They're ahead of DePaul. They're ahead of Butler. That roster is insane. They beat Alabama this year. I mean, it's Slick Rick. You don't go against Slick Rick. You'd be an idiot to go against Slick Rick. This team, they just win close games. I've watched them play a ton of times this year. They're excellent, and they're going to be alive in March because they just lost recently. The pick's Slick Rick. I think they win this conference 65% of the time. And I love St. Peter's, but it's Slick Rick.
All righty. Out of all the teams here in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, there's a lot of them. However, there's only one team that has a coach that has lasted 15 seconds in bed, and that is the Slick Rick. I cannot choose against the Iona Gales. But very unfortunate for obviously the 15-second part. But there's only one team in this entire conference above 20 wins, and that is Iona, and they have 25, and they have a pretty darn good resume heading into this. And if there was one team that maybe even look into, it'd be Siena, because they were pretty good last year, but however, they've had a few injuries to their team this season, which is the main reason why I'm staying away from them. And St. Peter's has had some few chances, but they did not beat Iona this year. Iona's 3 losses, all very close. I have to stick with the Gales. Ride or die by Rick.
The one thing you, I think, forget to mention is Siena, granted they were injured in this game, but they lost to Georgetown. You can't pick a team that lost to Georgetown.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
Every time.
I'm cutting you off. Okay, so the question is not who wins this conference. The question is, does Iona go further than round 1 in March Madness? This is a team that is a 15 seed, almost beating 2-seeded Alabama last year. They're going to head into this tournament as a 13, maybe even a 12, depending on where the line is drawn. They were at one point in this year very close to a top 25 berth. And they're going to get out of this conference here in the next couple of years if Pitino stays around and if he doesn't get a bigger job, because Iona is building a big culture here. This is a program on the rise. Rick Pitino has helped build that. And to keep it short, they're going to dominate this conference. Shout out to St. Peter's, 4 straight wins. They closed out the season strong. They'll make it to the championship with Iona, but they're going to get crushed in that final game. All right, we are moving on to my least favorite conference because all the goddamn names. So this is a conference that's going to kill your history. It's the Big West. And the leaders, the beach of Long Beach State. Yeah. Okay, Michael, I'm just going to let you take control of this. Who's winning the Big West?
Yeah, as you mentioned, the leader in this conference are the Long Beach State Beach. Would you pick a team that is like the Georgia State States? No, that's stupid. You're not doing anything like that. So of course you can't pick them. So sorry, Long Beach, you don't stand a chance. The two best teams in this conference, according to Ken Palm, and the betting odds reflect that, are this UC Santa Barbara Gauchos and the UC Irvine Anteaters. Way too many UC schools in this conference. They got to fix that, change some names, riddle some stuff around. But they're the 4 and the 5 seed, so they play in the first round. And I think those two are the teams that win it. Probably, if you combine them, probably like 60% of the time. So there's a chance my winner loses in the first round and I look like an idiot. And there's a chance my winner wins that first round game and then they just walk through. The winner of that game's beating the Beach, like comfortably, I think. And you look at these two teams, UC Santa Barbara played a Washington State team that I liked at the beginning of the year pretty well down the stretch. Amadou Sow is a beast, but I think the best player in this conference is Colin Welp, and UC Irvine has the best defense in this conference by far. So I'm going to ride with the defense. I'm taking the 4 seed. They are the favorite. So I'm not like, this is a 4 seed, but it's not like, oh my God, he's picking an upset. Oh, he's so cool. I'm taking the best team in this conference. The analytics love them. They ended the season a little rough, but the conference record's deceiving because they come out of a COVID pause and they just lose their first 3 games. So it's like, yeah, you throw that out of the window. That's a different team. That is a completely different team. When you get COVID, stuff like that's just going to happen. I like this Anteaters team. They usually make the finals and then they'll sometimes lose, sometimes win. I think they're just far superior to any team that'll play in the final. I got the Anteaters. I think they're the best team in this league.
All righty. Well, there's one team that plays against your Anteaters. And so I made the mistake of choosing against them last year, and I was big Anteaters guy. But this year I'm going to kind of switch it up and become more of a Gauchos guy, because UCSB, there's out of all these teams in this conference, they are the hottest team headed into this tournament so far on a 5-game winning streak, including teams over, obviously, the Beaches, and then just some of the other bottom dwellers, but Hawaii is also on that list. And so, like I said, and I think I agree to, the winner of this UC Irvine versus the UCSB game is definitely going to be the winner, because this conference is just a mess. I mean, they couldn't even play as many games as anybody else in the entire league. They only I think they played around 15. There's even a team in there, UC San Diego, that played big old whopping 0 games.
What they did in this conference was it's their first year in D1. So they played all their conference games, but they counted them as non-conference games, which makes no sense. It's the dumbest thing ever. So yeah, you are right.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Michael. This is the way the next 4 years are going to go for them.
Oh my God. That's ridiculous.
Well, they're a transitional team, and the Big West does have the obligation to do what they please with a transition team. So if they want to do this the rest of the way, they are free to do so. It does kind of create some havoc. But UC San Diego, they are allowed to do that. They are not going to be eligible for the tournament until 2025. Anyway, Ethan, continue.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Big West right there. So it tells you how much of a joke this conference is this year. I mean, the teams in it, I still think there's 2 of them that have some potential to be able to create some magic. I mean, the Gauchos last year almost beat Creighton, which was insane to think about. So that's why I think the Gauchos have the experience. They were there last year. I have to ride with UC Santa Barbara.
I agree with both of you. I think UC Irvine, UC Santa Barbara, winner there gets through Long Beach State. The part I disagree with is I disagree with the fact they're going to win this conference. I think UCSB wins. They're on fire. UC Irvine's slow finish to the season. Unfortunately, I think that kills them. UCSB beats them. They beat Long Beach State. But I'm going to go with a team with a lot of tournament experience, and that's Cal State Fullerton, the Titans. There's really not a whole lot of metrics to support my decision here. I just think they have the easier side of the schedule. Everybody in the northern side of this bracket is going to have to go through some heavy heat. I think Cal State Fullerton should be able to cruise through to the championship game. They're going to have a lot of confidence build up going in. The 2 seed in this conference, 11-4 in the Big West, 18-10 total, one of the best records. Besides UC Irvine, they actually do have the best record in the conference this year in total. So I'm going to go Cal State Fullerton. They are the 2 seed, and I like the chance they have going forward there. So that is my pick, and we're going to move on to Conference USA, baby. 14-team conference. This year they split into 2 divisions of 7 teams. Michael, this is one of your favorite conferences, so it's only fitting that you start first. Who's winning the CUSA?
Yeah, so I mentioned who I want to coach Georgetown. It's Dennis Gates. I can waver on that one, though. I cannot waver that the coach of the North Texas Mean Green, Grant McCasland, should be the next Butler coach. They should fly him up there once they can Laval, because he's got to go. He's on his last year. We'll talk about them later. He's got to go. And then you fly Grant McCaslin up there and you hand him a check and you say, write whatever number you want. Welcome to Butler. And you don't let him leave campus. Grant McCaslin fits everything Butler wants to run a program with. They are 48th in KenPom this year. That's insane for a mid-major. That is insane. 19th best defense in the country. And they play at the slowest pace in the country. Butler plays at a slow pace. They want to emphasize toughness. That is what North Texas does. This Butler team is soft as shit. Sorry for my language. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, but it's true.
It's okay.
Yeah, just it's simple. North Texas is the team that I love. I love this team. They should not let him leave campus. Grant McCaslin should be the next coach of our Butler Bulldogs, and either hire would be foolish in my mind. But when you look at this team, I mean, this conference it's good. It's a legitimately good conference. I think they probably won't, but I think North Texas is good enough to be an at-large team. I don't think they would get one. If I was personally making the bracket, they would be an at-large team, but I don't think the committee's going to give it to them. They don't have enough quality wins, which kind of sucks. UAB is the conference player of the year in Jordan Walker. He's a baller. Coach Andy Kennedy came in. This is either his first or second year. Got a lot of transfers like Josh LeBlanc, who played for my Hoyas, Quan Jackson, Kai Buffin, who played at Ole Miss. Jordan Walker, I believe, played at Tulane. Great roster. They're 52nd in KenPom. Those are far and away the two best teams, both in the same division. I think they make the final pretty easy. Western Kentucky, I said last year, they're a stupid team. That doesn't change. Stansbury is kind of like a dumb coach. Great talent, loaded roster with talent, Luke Frampton played at Davidson, 5th leading scorer, sharpshooter. Josh Anderson, top 100 recruit. Jarius Hamilton played, I believe, at Boston College and Maryland. So again, another great talent. You just look up and down that roster. It's the most talented, but I don't think they win it. They have Jamarion Sharp, who's 7'5" too, but they're just kind of a dumb team. And then lastly, actually 2 more teams I want to mention. Shout out Middle Tennessee. They have the coach of the year in the conference, Nick McDevitt. That roster kind of stinks though, so I just can't pick you. I'm sorry. You did a good job. And the guy I got to shout out, an American hero, frankly, because he won us the U18 championship, is Kenneth Lofton. Big boy. Like he was on the floor. Chet Holmgren, Patrick Baldwin. You look at all these guys who were top recruits. Who was the ball going to late? Kenneth Lofton. He's at Louisiana Tech, and he is a baller. He is a baller. I don't think he wins the conference this year, but man, I love that guy. So good. Look, if he wins it, all respect to him. I love that man. He's a big, beefy boy. He doesn't look like a basketball player, but you get him on that block, 6'8", going against 7'5" guy. Yeah. Ooh, hook shot, bucket every time. He doesn't miss. Love that guy. Love him. Kenneth Lofton, American hero. Shout out to him. But
said it in our video. It's not a JTASports video without a Michael DeRosa rant. There you go.
Yeah, I love this conference.
I know you do.
Yeah, I'm taking North Texas. I could see UAB winning it. UAB is actually the betting favorite. UAB is a great team, great roster. North Texas is not far behind them. In this conference, they play like a weird setting where you have like multiple courts in the same building and you can like hear whistles. It's basically like you're at an AAU tournament. It's really weird the way they do it. That definitely benefits a team that plays really slow, plays elite defense, and is really disciplined in North Texas. I think North Texas and UAB meet in the final. I think that's a great game. Winner of that game, it wouldn't surprise me if it goes either way, but obviously Grant McCaslin's my boy. They won a game from him in the tournament last year. I'm a loyal guy. If they lose, fine. They do belong in the NCAA tournament as an at-large. I don't think they get it, but the mean green winning machine. Shout out Tyler Perry. Awesome. If that kid comes to Butler too, we got a good lead guard that we need. Give me the mean green winning machine.
Thank you so much.
2024, now Ethan gets a pick. Here we go.
Oh, Joy, I'll try and keep mine short since you kind of took so many of the words and you really took a deep dive into this conference. I mean, this conference is so much fun to dig into as well. I mean, last year with Western Kentucky having one of the players of the year candidates secretly, I forgot his name. Michael would probably know it. But he's now in the NBA, or Charles
Bassey.
Charles Bassey. Thank you. He was an absolute dog. But now with Western Kentucky not having that, I feel like at least Western Kentucky is no longer in it. And so at least out of all these teams, you took my fun little set I was going to say out of my mouth. I was going to say that UAB was ironically the betting favorite, despite being second and behind North Texas and the Mean Green, because that is important to note. And I feel like when the bettors are leaning towards UAB, you gotta sometimes follow them. And I think I'm going to stick with the Blazers here. Blazers haven't been anywhere near the tournament in a while. And so I feel like this team should be able to maybe finally make their chance. Jordan Walker, like you mentioned earlier, an absolute dog, averaging 19.3 points a game. Dude is just lighting it up. And I would be trying to just go dog hunting this conference. And dog hunting means looking at number 1 seed Middle Tennessee, ironically, but I don't think that Middle Tennessee has it in them. They did go on an 8-game winning streak. Granted that it was against all the bottom dwellers in this conference. And so all their losses come to some of the better teams. UAB absolutely smacked this Middle Tennessee team, and that's one of the teams they do get to play on the road to the championship. So pretty easy pick here. It's going to be UAB North Texas. I don't see any other team really putting up too much of a fight here, and so I have to stick with my Blazers.
I agree with Ethan and Michael on one point, is that North Texas UAB should be the final. North Texas is going to cruise in the southern side of this bracket. I don't see any competition on this side. The reason I'm going to pick North Texas over UAB is because I think UAB can lose before the championship game. They got 2 games that I think they can lose. The Owls of Florida Atlantic are on a cruising streak right now, and that's not a guaranteed easy game to play. And Middle Tennessee isn't the top seed in the East for no reason. So I think their schedule is a little difficult to get to the championship. I think North Texas can cruise through without a problem. I think the difficult thing to note here, and I'm surprised nobody mentioned this already, the West is so much better than the East. Like, I mean, light years ahead of the East. 3 teams I'm going to argue 4 teams in the West are better than Western Kentucky, and Western Kentucky is the 2 seed in the East. So I don't know if UTEP would qualify there, but I digress. North Texas wins. Mean Green winning machine should be able to clear this conference. Like Michael said, Frisco's is kind of a difficult place to play if you're a fast-paced team. North Texas is the exact opposite of that. So I think they have an advantage already walking into this tournament. North Texas wins. All right, we have 2 conferences left. One no one cares about. I don't know about that part. And one everyone cares about. Let's start with the one no one cares about, except for like Michael DeRosa and Matthew Posner and Ethan Pollard. Okay. So the WAC has seen a lot of changes. This is the conference that has been completely dominated by New Mexico State over the last couple of years. That has not happened over the past couple. Grand Canyon stunned them last year. And this conference just had one of the biggest expansions we've seen in a long time. They have integrated the West Coast system. They got triple buys. The 2 teams with triple buys, New Mexico State and Seattle. The 2 teams with double buys, Stephen F. Austin and Grand Canyon. So with that being said, and everybody else kind of, no one cares. But there are 5 teams within 1 game of the lead here. This is the conference to go dog hunting with this bracket system. A little difficult to make that happen. Michael, who you got?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think this is the conference to go dog hunting, and especially when you look at the top teams. The leader is New Mexico State, as you mentioned, best player in the conference, Teddy Allen. But the coach of that team is kind of like low key, like bad mouthing the team. Like he definitely doesn't think they're on the same page like they were playing earlier in the year. So I think that's a team. I think they're the most talented team. Teddy Allen is the best player in this. I'll get to who I actually think is the best player. Teddy Allen's the 2nd best player in the conference. He won Conference Player of the Year. So I'm not picking them, but like if they win this conference, I'm not surprised in the slightest. Seattle, I just don't think the roster is that good. I'm kind of stunned they did as well as they did. Full props to them, but I'm not picking them. And Stephen F. Austin, also, I'm not picking them. I just don't love that roster a ton. Again, credit to them. They got to this point. But the 2 teams I'm down to, and I still haven't fully decided, is Grand Canyon, just elite transfer, loaded roster. Like they have 2 guys who transferred from Arizona State in Holland Woods, Tayshaun Cherry. Jovan Blackshear, I believe, is not a transfer, but he's averaging 16 points a game. He's ridiculous. You look down the roster, I'm going to mispronounce his name, but I'm still going to go for it. Yvonne O'Durage. Don't know if I definitely didn't get that one right. Sorry, I'm not sorry. Nebraska transfer. So they're just loaded with transfers. Aiden Igion is a transfer. Again, I butchered that one too. I'm sorry. A transfer from Louisville. Like just high major transfers up and down this roster. But another team I like is the 7 seed, Utah Valley. You're looking at Fardaz Amack, who I think is the best player in this conference. He's averaging 18 and 14, basically. He tested the waters in the draft, came back, and he's balling. He just destroys teams. They beat BYU earlier in the year. That's a BYU team that was 12th when they played them. They're not anymore. They're a bubble team right now, but that's an impressive win for a Utah Valley team. If I'm going dog hunting, I'm definitely taking Utah Valley. I think the 7 seed, I think the bracket kind of opens up for them. Like they're playing, like when they play Chicago State in the first round, who beat New Mexico State earlier, which weird game. That's definitely the reason the coach is kind of mad at them. But then they play Abilene Christian. I think they're better than that Abilene Christian team. Then they play Stephen F. Austin. I think they're better than that Stephen F. Austin team. Seattle, again, I really think the road kind of opens up for them. I think they're going to play the winner of Grand Canyon, New Mexico State in a battle, just a complete battle. I'm worried the team could be a little fatigued, especially because you're playing Fardaws Amac 40 minutes a game, pretty much. He is the best player in this conference. You really hope they can just blow a couple teams out and just sit him at the end of the game, because he is a machine. Like, you get that man the ball inside, get out of the way. He's scoring for you, and he's grabbing like 20 boards a game. Dude is a machine. But screw it. Give me Utah Valley. Screw it. I want to pick Grand Canyon. Screw it. Give me the 7 seed. Let's ride. Fardaws Amac. It's you and me, brother. You and me. Let's ride. I think they're like 20-1 to win this conference, something like that. I'll have to pull it up later. Ethan's got it. Ethan knows this stuff. That's a steal. Fardaws Amac. Give me the 7 seed. Let's ride. Let's go dog hunting. They take Grand Canyon in the final in a close, gritty game. Give me Fardaws Amac. Let's go Wolverines. Ah!
That is a ballsy pick. That is a real ballsy pick for especially a team that has to play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games in 5 days. That is a long ride for Fardaw to be able to make it that far. However, I do absolutely respect the guy. Dude is just like what you said, a machine, can get every single rebound. There's nobody rebounding the ball over Fardaw. So but I don't know if I'm that ballsy to be able to take a team like that. However, I am not picking number 1 seed in this division either, because when you lose to a team like Chicago State, that is just straight up embarrassing. So I'm not going to try and stick with New Mexico State, and I'm actually going to try and go here with the 4 seed instead, and that's Grand Canyon. I know Michael already touched on them a little bit, because I just think that their road to the tournament is so much easier than playing other teams, because New Mexico State, like I said, got a little bit of turmoil inside, and Grand Canyon, all they have to do is win against one of the lesser known seeds, which is CBU, Texas Grand Valley, Sam Houston. They just got to beat one of those seeds. Then they get to play New Mexico State, and boom, they're in the championship. So instead of having to play 5 games, they play 3. And so I think this team all around, amazing rebounding team, amazing shooting team, and probably one of the most underrated teams in this conference. And so I think I got to stick with the Antelopes here and ride for the Western Athletic Conference.
It's probably a better pick than mine. That would be the team I would go with if I don't pick Utah Valley. Good pick. Bryce Drew, great coach.
The NBA MVP award is marred by one thing and one thing only: voter fatigue. You know what the 3 of us are suffering from? New Mexico State fatigue. We're sick and tired of seeing them, and we're trying to find excuses not to pick them. Yeah, I'm going to find one too. But let's be real. I think they win this conference, but I'm not going to pick them because I hate them. So we're going to go find another option. How about the Southland's greatest team ever? Ever. Welcome to the WAC, the Lumberjacks of Stephen F. Austin. Oh, yeah, and they've won 10 in a row, by the way. So that's just kind of a small reason to pick them. And they're better than Seattle, so hello, championship. I think Stephen F. Austin's the best team here. The Southland provided more competition for them than this conference ever did this year. So they know what it's like to play in these big moments. They've made several tournaments. I think SF Austin and New Mexico State is a lock to me for the championship. I truly believe that, which is far off the contrary for what you guys think, but that is like a secured lock. I'm almost guaranteeing that is your championship. I think SF Austin wins because they just have everything that they need, and they've won 10 straight. And I know Michael doesn't like my take, but I do have Utah Valley making it to play SF Austin. I do have them winning a couple of games on their way there, but I think they get shut down by the Lumberjacks. I'm going to take Stephen F. Austin, but let's be real. I think all 3 of us will be absolutely not surprised at all if New Mexico State finds a way to win this. So this man is picking a team to win 5 straight games in 5 straight games. That's insane. So good luck to you. If they lose to Chicago State, I am sending you a text immediately. That's not going to happen, but you know,
I would deserve it.
You would definitely deserve it. Okay, final conference. This is the first of the Big 6. The Atlantic Coast Conference. Oh, the ACC. So we're going to go through this as fast as possible. I'm going to go first. I want to get my point out very quickly. I believe there's one man and one man only who is going to push this team. Mike Krzyzewski, Duke. I know Michael hates Duke, and he'll get on that. So I'm going to let him have that. Duke beats UNC in the ACC championship. There's not a whole lot in depth to go here. This is the worst this conference has been in a long time. Notre Dame, Wake Forest, they're going to be running that line of tournament. Miami's going to probably be around the same, but this is one of the weaker conferences we've seen from them in a long time. I'm going to take Duke to beat UNC in the ACC championship. Michael, who do you got?
Yeah, so first of all, North Carolina, American heroes. I mean, what they did, interrupting Coach K's celebration. Coach K had to shut the fans up because he was so angry. I mean, just possibly the most fun night of hoops I've ever had. I mean, that was amazing. Literally, you could not have asked for a better finish than what happened in that game. Coach K is like, oh, everybody praise me. Bring out all the fans. Let's have all these kids camp out for 6 weeks to watch this game. And then you just get your dreams crushed by a 5-man North Carolina team. Shout out to them. Warriors right there. The American heroes. Thank you for all you've done in ending this Coach K charade. Now, if they can play in the tournament and lose to a 15-seeded Bryant, Grand Canyon, whoever, that would be destiny. That would be everything I'd ever want. Duke is definitely the best team in this conference. If I was sane and didn't despise Coach K with a passion, they'd be my easy pick. I try to get these guys to all agree to not pick Duke so I wouldn't lose a point, but I'm going to have to eat it. I'm going to lose a point. Hopefully some of my other picks are good, and I'm picking a team to win 5 games in 5 days. I'm going maniac mode, but damn it, it's March. So I think this is a conference where bid stealers are ripe, like to just come through. Florida State has been injured. They're kind of getting healthy right now. Virginia Tech just underperformed this year. Same with Virginia. I'm taking Virginia. Screw it. Let's take a 6 seed. Why not? Why not? Let's get crazy. I think they beat North Carolina. North Carolina's having like too much fun. Like, yeah. Oh yeah, we're ranked now. We're one of the best teams in the country. Let's be real. You won kind of a fluky game. Like, let's be real. It was a great win. I love you for it. I will love you forever for it. And I will probably pick you to win a game in the tournament, but they're having like happy to be there syndrome. They're going to fly in, and Virginia's just going to play an ugly game and win by like 2 in one of the weirdest games ever. Then Notre Dame, they play next. My team's not that good. So yeah, I think they can get to the championship game pretty easy. They'd have to play Duke. I want to pick Wake to beat Duke so bad, but I love you, Steve Forbes, conference coach of the year for a reason. Georgetown should have took you when you could have had the chance, but I digress. Great coach, great video too. He spiked his mask like when he got hired for the job. Awesome. But yeah, Virginia's up. They play slow. They play ugly. This just seems like a bid stealer conference. Florida State's right there for it. Virginia Tech's right there for it. Virginia's right there for it. We'll mention a couple other bid stealer conferences in later videos, but I think this is the first one. I'm taking Virginia. Screw it. Let's ball.
Michael DeRosa is not sponsored by Monster Energy Drinks. Ethan, go ahead.
I was going to say, Michael has officially gone mad, but I respect it, because if I was trying to go against a team that I would absolutely hate, can I let's say one word and see how triggered Michael gets right here when I say Syracuse.
They're not winning a game. That team sucks. Screw the Boeheim. His name is Jackson, by the way, not Buddy. He is Jackson Boeheim. Call him by his name. He's a scum. And they stink. They don't stand a chance. They're awful. And Georgetown came down with them, damn it. We beat them this year, baby. Woo!
All right. You're welcome, everybody, because I'm not sure now going against my picks. I just need to make sure that was in there, because I knew he's been holding that in for a very, very long time, especially since they're doing so garbage this year. But speaking of garbage, this entire conference this year, I mean, come on, man. This has just been so disgusting to try and watch any of these games. And so, even the teams in this conference, I feel like it's just going to be disgusting. It's going to be a disgusting way to end. I know one of these teams is going to find a way to sneak in. I'm gonna stick with Duke. I can't choose against them because I feel like they are the best team, and I feel like they have the better road. I would go dog hunting this one just because of how bad it is, and I would have loved Miami just because I feel like they're a great team. They're 10-2 on the road, I believe, 10-2 on the road. So they're pretty good playing away and at these on these harder games. I mean, they were able to knock off Duke too as well this season, but I feel like their road is hard. They have to go through Wake Forest, they have to go through Duke or Florida State again, and then they have to go play a Notre Dame or North Carolina, even though I don't think any of those teams are good at all. And then I think Virginia, like you said, I think is a great pick, a sneaky one that people are forgetting about. But like I said, I still have to stick with Duke. Coach K, it's his last ride. I feel like there's going to be some sort of magic. And it's also going to piss him off to obviously lose to North Carolina. So now he's going to be mad, and they're going to try and get something going here. So got to stick with the Blue Devils, even though I am not very happy about it.
We know Duke's going to get a great tournament draw too. I mean, it's bullshit. Let's be real. Coach K, it's not about me, but I want to play where I was born, where I'm from. He's a fraud. He's a terrible person. He's a douchebag, and Duke fans deserve to be silenced when they lost that game. It was everything we ever wanted. They're going to open up in Greensboro. Then they're going to go to freaking Chicago. Oh, Coach K this, Coach K that. It's bull. It's bull. I can't wait to see them lose by 50 to Villanova and just kill them. And I will enjoy that moment so much. So much. You don't
Michael DeRosa, you are forgetting about the Longwood Lancers. Okay,
let's go!
Georgia
State plays tonight. So
that's how we're finishing this. I'm ending it right there. Thank you guys so much for watching part 4. Part 5's coming soon. And guess what, baby? It's big mountain swag time. Until then, we will be here just talking about sports. Have a good night, everybody.
Adios.
Peace. Coach K's a fraud.